forever blowing bubbles, pretty bubbles in the air.
It's been a while since we heard that bit of music, mate.
And you caught me mid-drinking.
Mid-drinking. You still on the water, though, mate? That's what's important.
Yeah, but I put 3 stone on, mate. I got all the way down to 15 stone and went back up to... Well, I'm lying. I went up to 18 stone 6 or something. I'm back down to 17.10 now, so I'm back focused on it. I need to get that weight back off.
The wrong time of year to get focused on weight loss, mate. It's all about...
Mate, I've got to do it. I've just totally got lazy. You know, I stopped exercising, stopped watching what I was eating. Look, grand boobs again. Stopped watching what I ate and just become silly. Kent, hello. Thanks for coming back. So, yeah, mate, but we're back for a reason, and there's a reason why we had this channel in the first place, and it's the reason why you texted me last night, and it's the reason why the West Ham family have shown over the last 24 hours exactly what we're all about. You know, people can give you grief as much as they like for years, but it's times like this that matter, and it's times like this we stood together. And I appreciate every single person that has stepped up so far, donated. I can say that on behalf of the family because I've spoken to a lot of them today. Mate, I'm going to sing your praises. I know you ain't going to like it, but it was you that texted me last night before anything. And I ain't going to keep no secrets. We hadn't spoken for a while, and you said we need to do what we do best and get our channel up and no money for that little girl. And, mate, I tip my hat to you because it's people like you that make these things possible for the girl. So credit to you, mate.
Well, to be honest, mate, it's no hardship, is it? It's a little bit of time out of our day to do what we do. And like you said, West Ham always pull together, and we're just a club that when there's a need and when there's something that needs to be done, I don't think there's another movement like us, mate. I just think we're fantastic. And obviously Isla's been in everyone's hearts for a long time. And, you know, when we're needed most, you do see everyone come together and do the right thing. So, yeah, it wasn't great on news yesterday. Obviously, seeing Nicola in that way was heartbreaking for many of us. But I guess I don't want everyone to think like we're making light of the situation. But what we do want to do is put out content to spread awareness, but without it being too much on the doom and gloom. We know how hard it is for people to watch. We know how hard it is for people to see. There's a very, very serious nature behind what we're trying to do, and we totally understand that. But also, we want to try and give something back while people are donating. And that is our time, and that is our opinions, and that's our chat and our banter. And, you know, if people enjoy that, which people messaged us plenty of times and said that they did, then hopefully they'll get something from that. We're going to talk West Ham. We're going to get loads of the other big YouTube channels involved. And I think that's, you know, again, what we need to try and achieve here. It's not just about a West Ham movement. West Ham's done amazing. We've all done fantastic. But there's plenty of other people that want to get involved. We've been messaged by the Millwall guy who wants to come down and wear a West Ham shirt for the day and so on. It isn't just West Ham that we need involved here. It's everybody. And, you know, regardless of the West Ham connection, I think we can all sympathise with the situation. And you just couldn't even imagine yourself in that position yourself, mate. So, you know, everybody is getting involved. I know loads of people that are non-West Ham people who have got involved, and if we can just spread it far and wide and as much as we can, you know, it's just going to make such a big difference for this. Hopefully, touch wood isn't the last period, and it isn't the final steps. But if it is, then we need to go and make it like it is, and really go and have that really big push. You know.
Yeah, 100%, mate. And listening to what Nicola had to say yesterday, I think we all know we've never seen her like that. I've been there while the baby's had treatment, and she's never been that way. And this was years ago when, let's not forget, 4 years ago, they was told that she'd only have 3 months left to live then. You know, and bless her little heart, she's still here now fighting and fighting away. But to see Nicola as she is tells me there's a lot more to it than... I can't say then that she let on, because you could see what she let on when she broke down in tears. She doesn't do that. She's a strong woman, Nicola. She don't show her weakness, but weakness probably the wrong word there. I don't know what the right word is at the minute, but she showed yesterday that there's something very, very serious happening at the moment, and she needed us, and that's why you reached out to me. That's why we're here now. I'll be totally honest. I'm not going to tell any lies. I didn't want to help with the Making Memories money. I told this to Nicola. I couldn't ask people for their money at such a difficult time for everybody with COVID. I didn't think it was fair to do that, and then in potentially 3 to 6 months' time be asking for more money for treatment. I thought treatment money would have been more important, in my opinion, but I can't ignore that last plea from her. We couldn't ignore that last plea, and that's why this will be the last push. I hope and I pray to God that she fights through this, but all we can do is ask for this one last chance to please support us. Not even us, her, sorry, through this channel, through what we're putting out. We put this PayPal link out very late last night, stroke early hours of this morning. I can tell you now there's 2,330 quid on it, which is just amazing. There's nearly £1,500 in auction items in 4 items I've got. Up at the moment, one being an Arsenal ticket that's up for, I think it's 275. Just going to double check. 275 at the moment. That ends at 8 o'clock tonight. Match worn Declan Rice shirt that was kindly given to us by Nick Marsh. That's got a £550 bid on it. The Darren Randolph shirt, match worn that I've got, has got a £350 bid on it. A match worn Aaron Cresswell shirt that's got a £275 bid on it. There's loads more been offered to me as well, but I can't do it all at the moment. It will all be done this week, and at the end of the week, we will pass on what we've managed to raise for Nicola and Isla, or Nicola and family and Isla, to make the memories that they wish to, and to do what they do. It's what they asked for, and it's what we're here for this last big push for them.
Yeah, no, absolutely, mate. And obviously, we have tried to do what we did before with the £1 for Isla Day, which is here. Obviously, we're a bit late to the party with that, with the timing of this video. So there is another variation list that's going to go out again tomorrow. We will post this on social media so people can post this around, retweet it, share it, add it to their profiles with the PayPal link, which is obviously going to really help. And if you can't donate that £1, and I know £1 doesn't sound a lot of money, but to some people, you know, it's difficult to donate, then all the retweets, the likes, the shares, the messaging people who you know have got influence, trying to get retweets from big social media accounts, all of that thing is going to play into part of it as well. And obviously everyone going to the game against Arsenal, Isla Caton's Claret and Blue Army is going to be sung out loud and proud, and that's also going to help generate loads of awareness as well. So anyone, if this is kind of a little ask again, and then this is the last time I'll do it in this video, but the PayPal link is at the bottom of the screen now, and if you can donate anything, even if it's, you know, £1, it can make a massive difference.
Bang on, mate. And if you can't donate that £1 again, please just share. That's as good as donating £1 if you can't do that, to get the awareness out there. And let's hope this little girl can have everything that she could potentially and possibly can have for whatever fight she's got left in her. Bless her.
Yeah, no, absolutely, mate. Well, let's talk some West Ham, mate, because we haven't spoken West Ham for a very long time. And obviously, I said Moyes, the only certainty, if he has a full season with us, is getting us relegated, which is still coming back to seriously bite me on the backside. But I can take that, and I can swallow that and accept that he's done an amazing job with the coaching staff that he's got round him. And I will nudge in the coaching staff that he's got round him, because I think they've also played a big part of why we are where we are. We've always been about asking...
Before
Go on.
Pablo Fornals.
Yeah, I don't rate him still at all. No.
What?
No, not for me, mate.
Oh man.
And he's no. Okay, he is obviously very committed to the cause. He clearly loves playing for West Ham. He gives everything that he's got. The other night, he gave the ball away so often, and that is my gripe with him. He works hard. He sort of half tracks back a bit. He does try and do that, and I can't knock his dedication to the cause. I give him all of that. It's just how often he gives the ball away at times, and I just still think he's a little bit lightweight, to be honest. And that brings me on to the other player who I'm really not convinced by at the moment. But I don't want to start this off in a really bad way. But Ben Rama as well, he is too lightweight at the moment, and that man has got to try and just get a little bit up to the pace of things. But
what did you think of him at the start of the season? Decent.
Who?
Ben Rama at the start of the season. Think he was good?
I think he's always quite bright. I think in a side where we don't have a lot of flair, I think he tends to stand out a little bit. Because he does try and make things happen and try to, unlock doors when we're sort of struggling. But I think I don't think his fault. I think we've taken it out of his game a little bit, and Moyes made it very clear to him. If you give the ball away and if you try something too overly ambitious and you don't track back and you're not doing these things that are not really part of his game in the past, then he won't play. So he has adapted, and now he's become more of a simple player in terms of just simple, easy passing, not traveling with the ball as much, not trying those long range efforts that he used to score. But that was kind of the bit of magic he had. He used to score worldies. We don't really see that anymore, but I don't think that's his fault. I think he's had the reins put on him, to be honest.
And do you know what I think ain't out? Like Burnley playing him out left.
Yeah, no, I agree with that, mate. I agree with that.
We've done this to Felipe Anderson, and it exposed our left back.
Yeah.
Now that's not the position for him, and I felt for him. And you can't play him and Lanzini in the same team, in my opinion. Not with the way we set up. It's impossible.
That's been a positive, though. Lanzini's been fantastic again, mate. He's looking fit. He's looking good.
And if it's Lanzini that plays that 10, Fornals has to play that wide role. Because he does the tracking back, he does the graft. You're not going to get it out of Ben Rama, and we shouldn't expect that out of a flair player. No. I've said that for a long time, and that was my thoughts on Anderson as well. I don't think Felipe Anderson is a terrible footballer. I think Felipe Anderson was exposed for us, if I'm honest. And listen, I'm glad he's not in our team, so I like what we've got now. But I don't think we see the best out of him through the way we played him. The same with one man who played up front, and that was Sebastian Haller as well. Slag me off as much as you like. That man knows how to score a goal and would have scored goals with Fornals and Bowen beside him and Ben Rama right behind. 100%.
It kind of says a lot, though, that maybe we just need a proper winger, mate. Because we keep saying you put Fornals out there. Fornals is more of a number 10. Kent's just put Ben Rama as more of a number 10, not a wide player. We keep saying it about it. Lanzini's definitely more of a number 10 than he is a wide player. We keep kind of trying to fit these number 10s into that wide position, and every time we do, they're never quite the same, and they never quite play as well.
I quite like Fornals. This is why I defended Fornals last year, if you remember, because I think he gives you that graft, that tracking back to protect your left back. I think he closes space. I think he's very clever at doing that, and I do. And you will get that work rate out of him, which you get out of Jared Bowen, and which David Moyes demands from his players. You're not going to get it off of Ben Rama. And he said it himself there, in my opinion, Ken. He's a 10. You shouldn't want a 10 doing that. No, you wouldn't want David Silva doing that for Man City when he was at his best. And that's my opinion on it. But listen, we can't moan. We're sitting fourth. Can we moan about performances? Of course we can, because the level we've set. And when you play Burnley like that and you're so empty in the final third, Antonio's gone missing for a long time. And I've said this, as soon as he don't play, we struggle. I'm a firm believer of that. We need him at his best. He proved that when we played Chelsea in the second half. He come out for that and we was a different side. But when he's missing, we struggle and we don't have a different option. We don't have a different plan. That's still my worry.
We're always been about asking the difficult questions here. We never kind of hide. We never sugarcoat anything. We just tell it how it is. And Kent's just put feed Haller and he will score. Quality goal scorer, quality player. Absolutely make him right. And we all knew there was something there, because when he first came to us, he was fantastic. And then all of a sudden, for whatever reason, he just didn't fit in. The fact that we've sold him for what we sold him for, and now his stock has gone through the roof again. He's got to, whatever it was, 10 goals in the Champions League faster than Haaland did. It's unbelievable what he's achieved since going to Ajax. But the bigger picture of that is this really, really difficult question that I would like to throw out into the open and have a little bit of a debate around. And that's, I see a lot of people praising Moyes, praising the recruitment that he's done. and so on. And we've always had this: who is behind the recruitment? Is it the board? Is it Moyes? I don't think we truly know who has picked each player that's come in, and Suchek, for example, and so on. But I've dug out the board and really have a big problem with them, and always have done, and always made that very, very clear. But they promised us European football within 5 years. Have they delivered?
Yeah, of course they did. They did last year.
Everything they've said that they would deliver, and this is really, really, really tough to say, and it's a really difficult question that nobody wants to mention, because what they could get in terms of backlash and so on, and we all know what they did, and we all know the things that they've done. They promised us that stadium. They promised us European football within 5 years. Look at where we are now. I think they would sit in that boardroom and think everything that we ever said we would deliver for West Ham, other than close to the pitch and all those whatever. I get all of that. But in terms of actual where we would be as a football club, they would be sitting there right now saying, you dug us out, you made all this noise, but everything we said we was going to deliver to you from a footballing aspect, we've delivered.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, mate, if we're honest, you have to. People don't like doing this, but you do have to praise them for it. You do have to praise them for the squad that the manager's got. Whether it's got the players we want or not. Listen, every West Ham fan, or 99% of West Ham fans, wanted a forward in the summer. The manager made it clear his priority was a centre-back. He bought Kurt Zouma. Now, he knows what he's doing. He knows what he's working with every day. It's great being a fan on the sideline and having an opinion, but the manager knows his team better. And quickly touching on Haller as well, fans hate him. He's rubbish. He's no good. He wasn't good for West Ham for the way we played. But with all respect to them fans and their opinion, I'd rather listen to players that play for West Ham now in the first team who say we should never have sold him. He'd be brilliant for us right now. And that's our current first team players. And I know this for a fact. I've had the conversation. Now, I think they know that little bit more than what a supporter that stands in the stand does. So credit must go to the owners of the club for... They put money up again in the summer, whether it's right or wrong. They paid 25 minutes for Vlasic. I don't think it's a good buy, but they paid the money. West Ham never used to sign £25 million players. They bought Kurt Zouma. They're spending money. They've got us to where they said, like you've said. For me, it's more of a personal thing. I don't like lies. I've just walked off of a job because a man who promised me the world at a job has lied to me. They promised me the world for West Ham, which was a lie, and I don't want to give them my money. I can't knock them for what they're doing. I don't think they're going to walk away like some people seem to think the end is near. I don't think that at all. Not all the while that football club will earn the money, and that's what it's doing. They deserve praise, and they must be kicking themselves that they ever got rid of David Moyes now, because the job he's done since he's been back is phenomenal. If they never got rid of him and got Pellegrini in and they gave David Moyes the £100 million, where would we be now? Maybe we'd be 2 seasons ahead of where we are now. Maybe we would be established in the top 4, possibly. I don't know. Maybe we'd be, or top 6, maybe not top 4, top 6. Maybe we'd be having top class centre forwards at West Ham.
Yeah.
And, so as much as you can dislike them, I do think they've done well, in fairness to them. You can't knock them for that. I don't like them as owners of West Ham. I'd much rather have different owners who I don't know. And I do think sometimes you have to be careful what you wish for. But me personally, and it's only my choice, I couldn't give them my money. But I'll never wish West Ham bad, that's for sure.
No.
And at the moment, it's very good. The manager's done great. The owners are backing him. I'm convinced they'll back him in January. I'm sure he will get what he wants. Whether that's now a centre-back that we've lost 2. And he might do that instead of a forward and think, I've got enough, I can change it, I can put Bo in there. But again, as fans, we all want a centre-back. We all want a centre-forward. But the manager knows his squad, mate. And if you trust your manager and he's the right man, you've got to go with what he chooses. And that's what I've never understood. Everyone says, picked us out. We've done this, mate, and we weren't convinced on Moyes. And everyone said, back him. And then when you didn't sign a forward, why aren't you signed a forward? Well, you backing him or not? You can't back him and then criticise you ain't signed a forward. Back his decisions.
And I've got to say on that, because this is the next point I was going to bring up, and everyone praises Moyes for all of his recruitment and everything else. I actually think we made probably one of the worst signings in West Ham's history in that last window. Not for the player and his ability, but for not getting the type of player we actually needed, and that was Vlasic. I think Vlasic was absolutely a terrible bit of business. It was the wrong man. We needed a centre forward, an out-and-out centre forward. Rondon has been absolutely useless for Everton, to a point they want to hang him outside the blooming stadium. They absolutely despise the geezer. Yet, Rondon would have been a better fit than Vlasic would have done on loan, because Vlasic just isn't a centre forward. And
Mate.
we was crying out for a recognisable centre forward within the club. With the amount of games we got playing, Antonio was never going to be able to do it day in, day out, game in, game out. And whoever sat down with Antonio and said to him it was a brilliant idea to fly off to the Caribbean every 5 minutes and having 2 extra games when his hamstrings are the way they are is madness, because someone should have sat him down and had a proper chat with him, because, you know, we've now got an international break from England, but he's got to jet off to the Caribbean in a few weeks' time. So
Yeah,
it's crazy.
David Sullivan pays for his jet, so that's all right. Don't worry.
Well, this is it.
And these are the flip sides of it all, you know. And you know,
No,
why? Not rude, you know. It's a good thing, but why does he deserve praise? Why is he deserving praise for that? But yet, when we called out him not wanting to pay for our travel to Everton during COVID, it was different. I don't get it.
No,
there are things that are always confuse me. But you mentioned Everton, mate. I would love, and I mean love, West Ham to sign Richarlison in January. I'd love to see him in our shirt. He knows how to play. He knows how to score. He works hard. He works for his team. He would do what an Arnautovic's done for West Ham, in my opinion. And do you know what else he is, which we don't have? He's horrible. Yeah. He's that horrible, the B word, I don't want to swear, the B word in your team.
Yeah.
Everyone looks at and gets the ump with. He winds defenders up, gets your fans going. I would love, and I mean love, to see him in that West Ham shirt. Don't think it'll happen, but I would love to see him in there. No. And I've just seen Kent's put Lingard. I would love to see Richarlison over Lingard. I'd also love to see Martial over Lingard right now.
You know what?
Nothing against Lingard. I'd like to see Lingard as well, but them two for me are more of a priority.
Yeah, Lingard for me was everything that the squad at the moment isn't, and he isn't that hard-working. He isn't that, you know, we've even heard of rifts that he had the last time he was with us on loan and falling out with people and everything else. It only takes that one bad apple, and I think if Lingard isn't in the right frame of mind and isn't committed to the cause like everybody else, but was on a fortune, I actually think that could have upset the apple cart a little bit, and I'm not sure he was the right man, to be perfectly honest. Don't get me wrong. When he played, he was that class above. You could see that a mile away. The way he picked up the ball and travelled with it and was positive and made things happen. We're crying out for that now. We've gone a bit stale. We're a bit tired. We're a bit lethargic. Someone like him to be positive on the ball would be exactly what we need. I get it. I'm just not sure he had a personality and character fit right for West Ham United. And that's nothing against him. I saw his agent coming out and knocking West Ham fans and saying, oh, you don't want him. Well, don't have him then, and blah, blah, blah. That to me was just ridiculous. No one was slating him. No one was, you know, saying anything bad against him. I just think the general opinion was similar to mine, that was, you know, is he that character that everybody else is together at the moment? They work really hard for each other. They're all grafting. If he comes in on a big salary and isn't showing that level of commitment, isn't on Instagram posting pictures of his man bags and whatever else, is that what we needed? I'm not too sure.
Do you know, I think you've hit an nail on the head there. Why on earth is a player's agent looking at what West Ham fans have got to say? Oh, you don't want him. Or you obviously don't respect him. No player moves for that reason because of what fans on social media are saying. It's rubbish. And that's complete and utter rubbish, because, you know, if that was the case, I'm trying to think of someone who, look at Ian Wright back in the day. And I know social media weren't there, but every West Ham fan would have sung Ian blah, blah, blah to him. You know, he would never put a West Ham shirt on, but he didn't. He's a professional at his job. He got offered an opportunity at another club. Don't think, oh, do any of their fans want me or not? They wouldn't care, mate. Their skin's thicker than that. You know, and that is a worry. That is a social media thing. But I'll be honest, I think if Jesse Lingard had become permanent in the summer, I think you would have seen a player there personally that would have loved to have been at West Ham with how this season's gone. I think he would have thrived it. The good times, I think he would have brought other people up with him as well. So I think he'd be a great signing, but I think we got prioritised more than him. And I would rather Martial first than him, but Richarlison in front of him as well. Them two players I'd love to see at West Ham. Know how to score, do work hard and can work hard. Martial has proved that. I think his face has been pushed out a bit at Manchester United right now, but not a bad player in my opinion. And Lingard would just be a nice bit of icing on the cake because it gives you that other option if that's what the manager wants. But listen, that's my choice. The manager might think Richarlison's no good. He might think Martial's no good. He might want to buy Andy Carroll back. And if he does, that's what you've got to trust, isn't you? Because that's the manager's judgment.
And this is it, mate. And I do agree with you. And, he did bring in Vlasic in the end. For me, he didn't work out in the Premier League last time, but he was very young. He's gone away. He's, done stuff in Eastern European leagues and sort of looked up, like he had a little bit of something about him, but I'm still not convinced. He certainly isn't the out-and-out forward we need. Actually, I don't actually know what he is, to be honest, mate. And I think that's half the problem. I don't know whether he's a wide player. I don't know whether he's a number 10. I don't know whether he's a centre forward. I don't actually know what he is, and that's a problem. And he needs to work it out, and Moyes needs to work it out for us to get anything back on our £28 million that we paid for him.
And here's the question, touch wood, it don't happen. If Antonio was injured, who would be the first man to put up front? It wouldn't be him. It'd be Bowen.
No, it wouldn't. That's right.
It would be Bowen. And if you're taking Bowen from that position, you'd have to cover his. And what would happen then? You'd have Fornals one side, Benrahma the other, and Lanzini in the middle. So you don't even get into them four positions.
Yeah.
So he is a full fifth, maybe sixth choice of where he goes. Because at best you'd have Bowen, Fornals, Benrahma, Antonio, Lanzini, and then possibly him. So he could be sixth choice. And I don't know, like you've said, which is the role out of them four positions you'd put him in first. And I don't think David Moyes knows, if I'm honest.
No. And that is the problem for me. But that was such an important final signing. I feel like that was I think Zuma was fantastic. And I'm not knocking that window because I think Zuma, obviously now seeing what's happened, is such a shame because he was looking so solid and it was looking like an absolute steal. So Zuma was the right buy. I can take that and fair enough. But I felt like that final signing, which was the attacking player, I felt like it had to be right. And I think when I look at the other players that moved around during that window and the other centre forwards, I think there was a lot better value out there for 28 million than Vlasic and players that could be a replacement, direct replacement for Antonio.
Man, no disrespect to Crystal Palace whatsoever, but I would have and I know it's easy to say now because he's doing well, but the hype around him, even Conor Gallagher on loan.
Yeah.
Now, that's a man who can play across that whole line. He can play all four. Now, and you've saved that 25, 28 million, whatever you paid, towards your forward. If you've now got that again in this January window, all of a sudden you've got 50 million for your forward. Yeah. But we don't. And I do think at times we just buy. Now, again, it's not, I don't want to be negative. There's good times at West Ham. We're sitting fourth in the league. That could change come tomorrow. Sides have closed the gap on us. But if the game goes ahead, like Rob's just put, that there's a potential that it won't because of COVID. But, just because we're fourth, don't mean you can't constructively criticise what's happening. That performance at Burnley, as I say, it deserved criticism. It weren't good enough if you want, because of the level we've set, and if you want to continue to be in that top 4 or 6. Because if you go out to Burnley and draw 0-0, you will eventually get caught out and fall out in them positions. And rightly or wrongly, some sides will fall out. This man, Frankie spoke about, the man just been mentioned there last year, Daka.
Daka's what a signing.
You mentioned him last year.
That was a steal, mate.
Him last year.
Yeah.
You mentioned that guy last year.
Absolutely.
And the guy also you mentioned last year at West Ham, if you remember when we was doing the watch-longs and stuff, we was getting all the praise. The young centre-back, Elise, whatever his name is.
And how good did he look the other night?
Again, magic.
He's just so calm on the ball. He's like Rio Ferdinand all over again, mate. That's what he's like.
And I thought our fullbacks were good that night as well, to be honest.
Yeah.
And that looks really, really good. But defensively, I think we're quite sound. You know, the fullbacks at the club, Kufau, Cresswell, Johnson, I think we're all sound. Masuaku, I don't like his left back. I prefer him attacking rather than defending. But I don't think he done bad the weekend, to be fair to him. I don't think he was caught out a lot. So it weren't a negative move, but I think it shows how much we miss Aaron Cresswell at the moment. So top player.
No, I agree, mate. And Kent's put here, I think we'd have been firmly in the top 4 if we signed Lingard in the summer. Lingard 4 moves in front of players, great football brain. And I absolutely 100% agree. But this is going to bring me on to the next point I wanted to make, because we've mentioned David Moyes and how fantastically well he's done, which is absolutely obvious for all to see. We've mentioned the board, who, you know, have kind of delivered on some of the most important things that they said that they would deliver in terms of where our football team would be right now. But, mate, did anyone really know who Souček was before he come to the football club? I don't think many people did. Similar with Soufal, similar with a lot of that recruitment. Bowen, was anyone really looking down at the Championship and saying, Bowen's the man for us, we've got to go and get Bowen? I don't really think they were. And I think personally, and it's a big statement, but I'm going to say it anyway, it's been a bit more luck than judgment. And I think the board have got double lucky to be where we are. I don't think it's happened through any knowledge, nous, scouting, recruitment, board of director, great. I don't think it's any of that. I think we got double lucky with some of the signings that we made. I think they've worked out. The team, for whatever reason, suddenly clicked. I don't think the team particularly wanted David Moyes back when he come back to the football club. I think a lot of them didn't really believe in the route he was going. We added those coaches in. They all clicked. Everything somehow come together. And it actually has a lot to be said for the rest of football, mate, to be honest, because how often do you see good managers go to places who are really good managers and struggle and don't quite live up to expectations or whatever it may be? And I do think sometimes, mate, a bit of luck just to get the right players together, just to get a bit of a click, just to get everybody gelling together. I do think luck is needed somewhere along the line. And, you know, you've seen at times, look at Rafa Benitez has gone to Newcastle. Mate, they're in free fall. I don't think anybody, I think people would have expected Rafa to half make them a bit more solid, a bit more organised, a bit more difficult to beat. You know, he is struggling so badly. And I just think sometimes it don't matter how good a manager you are. I think sometimes you just got to have everything just come together. And I think for us, it just has, mate.
Yeah, do you know, people like Rafa Benitez, I think the game's changed. And some of these older managers, I don't think have got up to date, if that makes sense. That was my worry with David Moyes. But we have seen the change in the way he sets up. You know, when we first had him, we used to play an Arnautovic as the sole forward, like a 5-4-1. If we was doing that now, we wouldn't be where we are. He's adapted in fairness. And maybe that is to do with his younger coaches. I don't, Paul Nevin, is it, the guy who's with us and with England? You know, maybe he's bought that because England's obviously more modern. We've got a younger squad of players that probably know about playing that way. With Souček, it was a gamble, and it was a gamble that obviously paid off really well. I thought it was superb when he was in on loan. And then when he signed in the January, I'll be perfectly honest, and it's not picking holes in him, but I thought he started this season really slowly. I thought he was at fault at Leeds for their goal. I don't think he was ever on top of his game. I think he's got a lot better, to be fair, and that's a positive. But at the start, I thought he was really slow to react. And I know he had a lot of football, but, mate, let's be real, so did Declan Rice. Got all the way through to the final, and he's just been absolutely incredible this season for us. Like head and shoulders above most players most weeks. And he's just getting better and better and better. And the worry for me is if we do not match his ambition and we do not continue to set our level this high, where is his? There will come a day when he'll say, and it's not because he wants to leave West Ham, but there will come a day when he'll say, I'm beyond this. Like, it's here now. I'm up here. And it will happen. And if we let it slip and we drop our levels and we drop our concentration and investment that the owners have got to do, that could potentially and possibly happen. And I hope it don't, because I do honestly think, and it's not because of any reason whatsoever apart from footballing reasons, I do think he's irreplaceable. He's that good, that good. And it's not just, we all speak about him as a CDM. We watched it the weekend, mate. He was the man travelling forward, which we spoke about Lingard doing, driving the ball forward to West Ham.
He's starting to do that well, and he is starting to do that well. But again, my only reservation to that is I think Souček looks like a deflated man of late. And I do think that has been since we've told Souček to sit and we've let Rice go forward. Now, what Rice has got to start doing, which is really, really important if he wants to be this man who gets forward, the assists and goals need to come. And I know he went close, and I know, he was really unlucky with a few at the weekend. But Souček was the man putting the ball in the back of the net. It was looking like Souček was going to be a plus 10 goal a season player, and he was well on his way to doing that. He would pop up in the box, get his head on stuff constantly. Rice has got to start doing the same, whether it be playing those assists, those killer passes, setting up the front man, or whether it be scoring goals himself. He's got to start delivering on that end product. He looks great. He bombs forward. He gets into positions, and it's like, wow, here he goes. We need to see that end bit as well. And if not,
And Kent's just put it there. And is it with Dec having this role now where he's getting forward, holding Souček back? Was it last year that
holding him back?
Yeah, but this is where it becomes an argument. Last year, Dec was more defensively, so Souček could do that. Now, if that's the case, then I'll be honest, I don't want any manager to say to Declan Rice now, we don't want you doing that in your game, just sit behind the halfway line, that's it. I want to see him doing what he's doing, because I think he is better than Souček at it. I think goals will come. I think creation will come. I think Dec said it himself in an interview after the game, that something about a forward, and I think he said Antonio's out of form or something along them words. I don't know exactly, so don't quote me, but, a real forward would know what positions to be in at that point. A Jermaine Defoe, for argument's sake, would know where to be and where to run when someone and this is nothing, I'm not digging out Antonio, but know where to go when he sees someone like Declan Rice or Jesse Lingard travelling forward. He would
sometimes that bent run, beat the offside trap, curved run,
that's
sit on people's shoulders.
Antonio started showing that at the start of this season, but in my opinion, his game has slowed right down. His pace has slowed. We knew it was going to come. He's not built for this for week in, week out, bless him. And it's not a criticism of him and a dig and a dig and a dig, but it's reality. And it's criticism that, let's be fair, if we had, I'll use him as an example again, but if it was Sebastian Haller at his best, like he's doing for Ajax now, we would have scored 100 more, well, not 100, but we'd have scored probably 10 more, 15 more goals.
Yeah.
We would have, for a fact, we would have. We wouldn't have possibly scored some of the goals we have because of Antonio's build-up play. So it is a counter-argument. But apart from that second half at Chelsea, and I think it was the second half against Liverpool, I haven't seen Antonio play well or good for quite a while. And again, it's not slagging him, but when he's good, he's like Andy Carroll. You're either playable or unplayable. Unplayable or unplayable. And that's the thing with Antonio. If he doesn't turn up, you haven't got a player in your game, and it's irrelevant having him up front. When he turns up, he's just too hard to deal with. Reminds me of Didier Drogba. The difference is Didier Drogba done it week in, week out at the top level. That's what made him the world-class centre-forward. And that's why Antonio won't ever be that, in my opinion.
No, I think we can all agree with that. He's a pest. He's a nuisance. He's something different. I just wish we had another recognisable centre forward in the club to be able to utilise when he's not quite working out. And that's right. And push him.
He's very complacent. He knows it's his role every week, doesn't he?
Yeah, I don't. Back just one last thing on the Souček and Rice thing. It's difficult for me because I just don't think anyone reads the game as well as Rice does in that CDM role. I think he spots things. So, like Kent just said, Lingard's 4 moves above, when he's up the top. I think Rice is the same at the back. I think he covers space so well. I think he reads the game. He knows where the ball's going to go. I think he does it brilliantly. And you even see Rice drop back into a centre half position at times when required, which, Souček isn't that player. He's a solid CDM, but sometimes when Souček gets in the box, I always expect him to anticipate something, and he doesn't. And I know if Rice was there, Rice definitely would have. So I know it's really risky. I know it's a difficult thing to do, because if you're saying, well, swap, one can go, one can sit, always make sure one of you is holding, there is that opportunity that both get a bit lost and are not covering and so on. I would like to see it at times switched around. I would like, in the City game, Souček you could see how frustrated he was. He wanted to bomb forward. He was looking at that game in that snow and thinking, if I could just get forward here, I could make something happen. And I think at times, if Rice is, been bombing forward for 60 minutes, 65 minutes, whatever, and we're struggling to unlock that door, I don't think there's anything wrong with saying, Rice, sit now. Now let Souček get in the box and try and get his head on something. We put in a lot of crosses the other day against Burnley. Well, I can guarantee you there's only one man you want in that box from crosses, and it ain't Declan Rice, it's Thomas Souček, because he is just, mate, the way he jumps and the way he heads the ball is phenomenal. So I just think at times I'd like to see it maybe just be mixed up a little bit. Do
you know what, though? I agree with you. I do agree. But on the flip side of that, it wouldn't harm the manager to change the shape either, to allow it to happen and both go.
Yeah.
And be cover for them. It wouldn't harm. I'm not saying we've got another centre midfielder that can sit and hold. I don't know who's there. But
so but this is a great point now, and this is something we also need to cover. The other day, Burnley away, at first I wasn't disappointed. Respect the point in the Premier League away from home. Burnley's a tough place to go. The old West Ham go and lose that 1-0 from a Chris Wood header on the 70th minute or whatever. Do you know what I mean? So respect the point. You've come away with the point. Fine, fair enough. However, what you just said about levels and where we set in this bar now, and Moyes come out at the end of last season and said this season we've got to find those extra few points that get us into the Champions League. And that Burnley game is those extra points. That is what that game is. And at times, okay, we've benefited from a point. If you want to be ambitious and you want to go to that next level, are you better off changing the shape and go, let's go and win this game? And if we lose it, we lose it. But if we're going to make that leap of faith, sometimes we've got to go and try and take it to them and make it happen. Sometimes you've got to force the initiative. I don't know. I'm still undecided, mate, and I haven't been able to make my mind up whether it was a good point or not. And yeah, I'm still not 100% on it.
Mate, you go back in years when sides like Chelsea, Tottenham, wherever were pushing to get in the Champions League, before Chelsea got to the level they're at, they would have been disappointed coming to West Ham and not taking 3 points, because that's a game they should win. And for West Ham, being in the top four now, to be serious, places like Burnley, who I know it's tough, I get that, they're a physical side, but places like that, you need to be getting 3 points to keep that dream alive and having a good chance of doing it. And it was clear to see, this is no disrespect again, the substitutions from the manager. He's brought off Ben Rama, who's out wide out of position, who wasn't working at all, to replace him with Vlasic, who's proved nothing, yet 4-0 stayed on the bench, who's played that role, who's created chances for us, and could have been different for us, could have been a different outcome. What we do, and we do it regularly, is the same thing. When it's not working, we just keep trying. Change personnel. We don't change our way. And at times, there's teams like Burnley who are going to sit behind the ball, kick you to pieces and everything. You have to change. You can't just accept, keep trying it for 90 minutes. Keep trying. You don't break them sides down hardly ever, as proven. 14 corners we had. I think we won one header and out of all them, which was Diop. When the corner got cleared and it come out for a second phase and the ball come in again, he then won the cross. Nick Pope, but every corner was the same. Put under the bar, put it on the keeper. It didn't work the first 8-9 times. Why are you still doing it?
Yeah.
And these are things that I do believe is the difference in someone. And mate, listen, it's West Ham, and again, I don't want to sound like I'm criticising him, But it's a difference in the manager like David Moyes or Jurgen Klopp or Pep Guardiola. Them managers, the geezer at Chelsea, Tuchel, who know how to change a game when it's tough, when it's physical, to get his side through it a different way and to adapt. I don't believe we do. And that's why when someone sits and says, how can you moan we're fourth? I can moan constructively. It's not saying we're shit, but it is literally, sorry, I shouldn't have sworn then. It's just, we need to be able to adapt as well. There's times in that game, and I'm not saying it's the right man, he could have sat there on the weekend and went, right, need more drive from midfield, proven because Rice was getting through. Thomas, I need you to do it as well. Lanzini, you're in that 10, not really doing much, so you're going to come off. Noble, come on. I'm giving an example here. Come on, sit and hold in centre midfield for me. Thomas and Deck make the runs. We need you to get in the middle of the box and join in the runs for our wide man. It can happen, but we never do it. We stay the same way. Keep trying, boys. Keep trying. And
yeah,
I just think...
I also think that game, Vlasic come on, created more chances in the game than any other player. I think Fornals was always going to be too lightweight in that game. I also think Benrahma was absolutely the wrong man for that game. Vlasic was probably the right man to play out wide in that game. Be a bit more physical, be a bit more driving forward, and it proved when he come on, he made a difference. And again, it is getting stale, but it's getting stale because we do the same thing over and over and over again. And eventually, mate, when you do that, teams will also work you out. You become a little bit easier to play against. I don't think we're easy to play against at all. I'm not saying we're easy to play against, because I think we're so committed, we're so driven, we're fit, we work hard, and all of those things. But I just think if you do keep doing the same thing over and over again, in the end, teams
you get found out.
You get found out a little bit, mate. And
it happened with John Hartson. It happened when we had John Hartson in that season, when he scored I think he scored 21 goals by the January or December. I think he finished the season on 23. I'll tell you, Renaud, Kent know the facts of this, because they found out the way we played with him, and it got cut out. And listen, just want to quickly say, because of them corner situation that I've mentioned, it was a bad day at the office. We've been fantastic from set pieces. So it's not me saying, oh, we ain't got a clue what we're doing at all. It was a bad day at the office. We didn't learn from it. We should have learned after 6 or 7 it weren't working. We didn't. And we have been superb throughout the season from set pieces, as we know, and scored a lot of goals.
We can't keep relying on it either, mate.
No, I just think, in my own opinion, the weekend, we missed a trick. It's not an easy place. Not many sides go there and win. But sides who want to progress, they go and get something, even if they nick a 1-0 win. And if I'm honest, I don't ever remember watching that game thinking we deserve to win this.
No,
I didn't think that.
No. To be honest, mate, I didn't really sit at Chelsea and think we were that good. I don't think we was that good for Chelsea.
Second half, I thought we was much bigger.
We was much improved, but for that first half, you sat there and thought, "How are they? Let us get back to 1-1."
Yeah.
And then sort of even our second goal again, I thought it sort of come out of nothing. It is getting a little bit stale. We do need to freshen something up. Mate, that's not our job. That's for David Moyes to work out. But like you say, we're sitting pretty, mate. I've had some fantastic days over there recently. The Liverpool game was probably the first game I haven't drunk at West Ham since I was 18. I just wanted to go and enjoy the football. And normally I can't be bothered to drink to make it look better. But, I went to that Liverpool game and said, I'm not drinking. I'm going to go over it. I'm going to enjoy every second of it. I want to watch the game. I want to enjoy it. It was my dad's birthday, which was ideal as well. We got the result, and what a fantastic evening that was. It has been an unbelievable season. I just, I really hope, which will
Do you know what I'm struggling to believe here, though?
Go on.
I'm struggling to believe. I'm trying to picture the scene that you ain't stood outside that shop near the Carpenters.
The Offie.
Yeah, with one of the sandcastle buckets, just tipping different alcohols in it and drinking out of it at a football game. There's no way you didn't have a drink.
And Nigel was with me as well, and I still didn't get on it, mate.
He had about £50.
We both went totally sensible. It was a very different experience. We both come out thinking, yeah, that was different.
Mate, that's a good question. Good question there from Gaz. I don't want to go on about VAR, but can they not see Dawson was fouled? What's your take on that?
Mate, he's been booted like you would never see a player get booted before. Mate, it's a penalty all day long. I can't see how it's not given.
I'll be honest, and again, I'm going to sound maybe a bit hypocritical here. I agree he got kicked, and if that was Mo Salah or anyone who played for Chelsea, Liverpool, Man United, it's a penalty. But I've got to be honest, I think Dawson knew what was coming. He could see what was coming. Very, very clever. Got in front of the player and the ball and was kicked at, which resulted it should have been a penalty, but was never in control of the football.
No, I agree with that.
And that's why I don't think it was given. I think it should have been a pen because everybody else gets them for them situations. But I think it wasn't given because he was never in control of the football and he knew where he was going.
Mate, if there's a man on the back post, if there's a man on the back post, mate, and the ball goes to the front post, but the man on the back post gets an elbow in his face, it's a penalty.
Yeah.
Simple as that. So it don't matter whether he's in control or not.
Everybody's saying, and like he's saying, look at Maddison, Kent saying good play from Dawson. What Craig Dawson done was superb. He put himself between that ball and the player, knowing any touch he should get a penalty, and he should have got it. But I'm saying, for me, that the reason it weren't given is because I don't think he was ever in control of that football. That's why, despite me saying that, it is a penalty because every other club get them.
Yeah, mate. I just think if you get kicked and there was contact and the ball was
look
there.
What Souček got sent off at Fulham for last year.
Yeah,
which then got rescinded. But that's dangerous then, because that could end up making you lose that football match. And then, oh, don't worry, it weren't actually a red. Now you've lost 3-1 or 3-2 last minute. It weren't a red. It's only meant to have been a yellow. Bad. I don't like all that.
No, and seeing so many other penalties that were given on that day to the top six, mate, you do struggle to feel like there isn't a bias towards those guys.
It's a top three now, isn't it?
It just makes you wonder, mate. They all didn't go off to join the Super League. What discussions were had? What guarantees were made? It's it's tough, and we're never going to get those results, and that's just how it is. We're little old West Ham, mate, and everyone's thought that we're this.
But you know what we are really?
We're massive.
See, not little old West Ham.
I'm also not. I do like this massive movement. It's great. We are. I just wish it weren't so tongue in cheek. We are massive. I wish it wasn't said in the way that it's said, that it's, almost like it's a joke. It's not. We are that big. We are, mate, wherever you go in the world, there's West Ham fans. Do you know what I mean? There are West Ham fans. We are that big. We've always been a sleeping giant. We are absolutely massive. And I mean that when I say it. Whereas when other people say it, I don't believe they do mean it, but they should.
Yeah.
So start making it with a bit more false. What have we got here? Hi, Baz, mate. What are you thinking about Leeds tonight from your favourite Leeds fan, Mush?
How you doing, mate? Hope you're well. If I'm perfectly honest, I think you're going to get battered. And I don't know. Listen, I'm going to be honest. I don't mean that nasty. And the reason I think you will is because, again, your manager isn't one who respects sides and the way they play. And I think if you try and go toe to toe and keep running at Man City all day, then you will get hurt. They're that good. And I think I honestly think this could be, they could score 5 tonight, if I'm honest. And listen, that's not saying you won't score. It's like when you played Manchester United, was it, or Liverpool? I just think if you want to go toe to toe with Man City, you're going to get in trouble. You did beat them last year with 10 men. I don't doubt it, but I just think Man City got something about them this year, and I think they're going to win the Premier League personally. And I think if you want to go toe to toe with them, it could end up being like a 5-2 or a 5-1. I just think they will. I think they're that good, and I think they're batty with the way they do.
Quite an interesting discussion, the old Leeds, mate, with Bielsa and his demands of the players.
Can I just say, mate, I was quite lucky in the year. Earlier in the year, I went up to Leeds away. I went up with Paul Robinson. He took me in, and we was in the President's Suite. Cracking ground, mate. Cracking day out. Obviously, good for us getting the last minute win. Made more than welcome up there. And the following day, his boy plays for Leeds. And they had a game at Leeds training ground, and we went up and watched it. And like on the documentary when we spoke, they got the running track right around the perimeter. Mate, I was watching these boys' game, and honestly, every 7-8 minutes, there's just a different group of lads running around. You look around, and they're just pouring, and I mean pouring with sweat, and their tongues on the floor, everything. They graft them hard. Whatever his training plan is there, they graft hard. And that was from the young kids and all. Real nice setup. It was one of the first, if this makes sense, one of the first new modern training grounds Paul was telling me. Really, really nice place and a good setup there. So obviously that's why they've got the energy levels they have, and his team he gets good graft out of them. But if I'm honest, mate, I do think you'll get beaten up tonight, sadly, because that's going to affect our title hopes as well. So I'd love you to win. I'd love you to win 1-0. So we're still in with winning the league. We've still got that little chance, but hopefully you get a win for you, mate.
He said they were the original sleeping giant. I don't know, mate.
I think they are huge.
I think it's just like us. I think they're a huge club, mate. I think it was
And
always.
I've got to tell you, I'm extremely, extremely jealous of the atmosphere that ground there produces. Unreal. Yeah. I remember when it was the VAR when we scored, and we sat there, and Robbo nudged me, and he went, "Mate, listen to this place when this gets ruled out." I said, "You're confident?" Yeah. He went, "Just listen." The second the VAR went up and it was ruled out, I think it's when, was it Surchek or someone kicked the goalie in the head? Or Antonio, it might have been, a Surchek scored. He went, "Listen, mate, within seconds when it come through, that roar was just unbelievable." And that reminded me of that night at Upton Park against Ipswich, the roar that night when we won the playoff semi-final. It's unreal in there. Great ground. Proper football fans. Very, very jealous.
No, I agree with you, mate. 100%. 100%. They're fantastic. It's probably one of the most intimidating places I went to as a kid, if I'm honest. Going there, it wasn't comfortable. Just the passion they've got and the atmosphere that they've got there as a young lad. Because I went to obviously the one with a Winterburn back post header, the 1-0. You'll never get Rio, and then 5 minutes later they've signed him. But it was proper day out, mate. And it's a proper old football ground as well,
mate. I love it. And again, I was just about to say, as I say, I was in hospitality that day, and this is what I loved more than anything. Every member of staff throughout the hospitality, and I mean this with respect, was an old person who had been at the football club for years. Yeah. So like with Robbo, he'd say, "Oh, that's John. When I used to play, he was in." And he went, "Hello, Paul, how are you?" And like he'd say, "You still here?" He went, "Mate, I can't leave this place. It's my life. I'll die in it." This is a member of staff at that football club. That's what that connection that club's got. And that's what I'm jealous of. We had that at Upton Park. We did. We see it with the Long Live the Boat, not Long Live the Boat. Sorry, don't want to say that. The Iron Man video. Yeah. When Ray Winston walked in reception, "Hello, love, how are you?" And he's talking to, they all know everyone on first turn names. You wouldn't know that at West Ham now.
No, you
apart from maybe your.
Well, we don't hire the staff anymore, do we? So it's difficult.
And that's my point. And that's what I'm very, very jealous of. It's a great football club, great setup. And I really, really hope, and I don't think they will, but I hope they don't go down this year. I've got a lot of time for Leeds.
No, I think they've got enough to keep out of it, but they do need to be careful as well, mate. They've got to be very, very careful. So, anything else you want to touch upon, mate? We've done it for an hour. It's normally our sort of time to end
wrap
things.
This. We can come back on tomorrow. We'll do some more. But I just want to say, I know Frank, you ain't going to mention it again, but I'm going to. The link's in the bottom of this screen, as you can see, the PayPal link. Anything you can do, please do. If it's a quid, if it's a retweet, whatever you can do, please share. Let's help this beautiful, brave, strong little princess. Let's just send something that can help cheer the family up a little bit. And we will do that by the end of this week. So whatever we can get this week, we'll all come in and go out there. There's some big things. I've got a couple of things coming this afternoon that keep an eye on our Twitter about, because I'll be tweeting them with pictures. For a new auction. The ticket for the Arsenal game finishes at 8 p.m. tonight. So if you're interested in that, please get a bid on. I didn't put a date on the 3 shirts that are up of ending auction because I want to try and raise as much as possible. The bids seem to have slowed down. And I said, once the bids stop, I'm going to call it towards an end. So I'm going to call them, I'm going to tweet this as well, but I'm going to call them for 9 o'clock this evening. 9 o'clock tomorrow morning. Them shirts will all finish. So whatever the leading bids are then, that will
I think
be the winning.
that's one point I do want to reiterate to everybody, mate, and that is we no longer have time. It isn't about I can wait until then, or these fundraisers can last a long time. We used to try and get as much out of everything that we did as possible.
Yeah.
We don't have that privilege anymore. We need to move fast. We need to move quick. We need to create these things now. We need to get the money in. We need to pay for the memories that we're going to pay for, and whatever that may be. And we'll discuss that. But we need to do it now, and that is the point I just think we need to make.
100%. And I've spoken to members of the family today. They know what we're doing. They know why we're doing it. They're very, very grateful. They've asked me to send their thanks on to all of you on behalf of the whole family, including Nicola, who I'm not pestering me. Can you send my love on? Listen, I appreciate that, but I'm not getting in her way. Every second she's got now, she don't need to be reading my messages. She needs to be spending it with Isla. That's what's important. We can do this spade work. I'm going to bring this up. I didn't really want to, but I'm going to bring it up. You would have seen a tweet from Isla's account saying about only donating on that link. I assure you, as I tweeted back, that Nicola and her family know what I'm doing, why I'm doing it. They've given me the green light, so please don't worry about that. Everything's done, and is done for the right reasons for that little girl. So.
And same as it'll all be transparent, mate. We may even put things to vote on here about things we're going to do and where that, you know,
100%.
the money's going to be utilised, and everything will be shared back in a very transparent way where everybody knows where every penny of what people have donated, they'll know where that's gone, which is really important.
It's all on the PayPal, and if you all the PayPal transactions are on there, I'll be screenshotting it and sending it out like I done last time when we done the £1 Friday day. You will get what do you call it? The proof of what's been paid, where it's been paid to, how much, where, when. You can see all the dates. I've nothing to hide. I don't even really need to explain myself without being rude. I've got the green light from them, and that's all that matters to me. So again, appreciate all your help, all your donations, your retweets, whatever. It's massive. Let's spread this word and give this little girl, show this little girl the love that we've got for her, that will help her with her fight that she's got left in her. Bless her.
Tom, man, well, we'll be back every single day in one way or another. If you can't, I will, vice versa, or we'll do videos from our phones.
I'm off all week.
Whatever it will be. So we'll be around every day. We'll give up. And if there's things that we need to react to, we'll jump back in and we'll give as much of our time now as we can to...
Sorry, I just want to quickly add another. I've had a lot of text messages and other messages from things, and Scott's just asked about money. All I'm going to say to you is I spoke to Nicola a couple of years ago, and whether you're aware or not, you can't raise money for yourself as a charity. So we could never get Isla's own charity because the fundraising was for Isla. It wasn't for anyone else. To be a charity, you have to raise money for other people. So that's why Nicola went through the Bradley Lowry Foundation, because obviously Bradley's name helped all the other kids as well. I know because Nicola said it many times, she's got plans for the future. So this is the wrong thing to say because it's not going to sound right. But believe me, whatever money comes in and whatever money is passed on won't just sit in someone's bank account if you have them thoughts. The money will be used for Isla, for Isla's name and Isla's foundation in time, if there's anything ever left. So please don't sit and text me and ask me, what's going to happen with the money, Baz? Blah, 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 blah. You know the rest of that conversation. It's not for me to answer, but I only know the conversation I've had with her in the past. And if you have any fear, don't give. But I wouldn't be sat here now if I had any fear of what was going to be happening with that money. That money will be used for that little girl's name. That little girl's name will go on for years and years and years for the right reason. Like she's given the fight to us, we can fight for her.
If you keep whacking that pen in front of that microphone, we're going to have to pay for people's hearing aids out of it, son. You must be killing them. No, absolutely right. I think, for example, something was put out today that Nicola is looking to have a massive event within the next week or so with all the family where they need gazebos, they need sound systems, they need all this sort of stuff. So they're already needing money to create these memories that they're looking for. I've got some ideas of things that I would like to do. I'd happy for people to share their ideas if they see good things that they think would be amazing as well. I think there are things, you know, Nicola isn't going to have the time to think up on her own also all of the things that can be done. So if people have got really nice ideas or things that we can do or things that we can put the money towards or buy or, you know, whatever it may be, whether it be sending entertainment to Isla or whatever, the family might want to go off for a week somewhere and get a lovely B&B somewhere near Centre Parks or who knows. But what we're saying is we just need to make those possibilities available to them, and that's what's important. So whatever happens, it all goes to that cause. So
and mate, like we've always been transparent. If there is someone who's got an idea, if there's someone who's got something they want to do to raise money, mate, this channel's open. If you want to come in here like Frankie done the other year and shave your hair off, mate, we'll get you on it. We'll do it. I would do mine, but there's nothing left. I'd do it. Come on here. We ain't here for us. We're here for that little girl. And everything we can do through this channel to help raise money, we will.
Yeah, 100%, mate. Well, we'll be back.
Keep banging that pen.
Keep banging that pen and crucifying everyone's ears.
Sorry.
So yeah, we'll be back, and every day at least from now on, we'll be back to discuss West Ham things. Obviously, Wednesday night, I'm not sure what's happening yet. We may be live from another studio. We may be doing, or I might be. There's going to be things going on. So, but we'll make sure there's loads of content coming through here. Any news that may transpire, we'll do it through here. I'm not really keen on that whole transfer rumor thing. I'd rather do transfers that we would like to see and the reasons why or something like that. I'm just not keen on just regurgitating rubbish and made up stories from the media and stuff like that. I ain't got a lot of interest in that. But again, if you've got any content that you would like to see, then let us know. If you've got things that happen in West Ham and you see something you'd like to hear our opinion on, tweet it to us and we'll jump on, DM us, whatever you want to do, and we'll come on and we'll discuss it. So keep sharing everything, keep putting stuff out there, and we'll see everybody again very, very soon.
Thank you.
I'm forever blowing bubbles, pretty bubbles.